It's 80, you know, I don't know for sure on this one. And we can't set these roads above 80, but you set your roads at the 85th percentile. If you go out here on your main street, your 85th percentile should be around 25. That's what the reasonable driver drives on that stretch of road.
That's how we establish our speeds. And so the reason I'm sharing that too is just, I think it's good information for people to know. So we do our speed study, and speeds are set at the 85th percentile. So when folks do ask us, like for example up in Orovada, lower it to, it's currently set at 45 and they want it even lower. And we did a speed study and folks are moving through at 67 miles an hour. And so I'll ask the officer, what would happen if we lowered it even more?
Over in Orovada.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just in
general, if you lower your speed even more than what the 85th, 85% of the average public is cruising, what's gonna happen?
People are gonna say it's a speed trap and they're just gonna speed,
Well,
they're just
there
gonna
is that.
speed through there anyway.
There is that. We're gonna have crashes that are gonna be even bigger though. We're gonna have folks that are, there's a big gap between what folks are traveling at and then what you lower it to, and what, it gets ugly. And so that's kind of why I wanted to share that, because, so we do set speeds at the 85th percentile. So I'm not sure though, but that's absolutely something we can put on here.
Again, that's something that, I feel like I'm derailing you guys a little bit, but, being new to safety, we're looking at how we set speeds throughout the state and trying to design your roads so that they're self-enforcing, and that your people actually, they don't feel like they can drive 80 through there.
Right.
They feel like what we need for a safe speed.
So,
Go ahead.
so I think instead of lowering the speed and being possibly counterproductive, a turn lane would be the best.
I have a note for look at speed and lanes.
Absolutely.
Because this also has a motel in there, so you do have people coming
Right.
in and out.
So is it a turn lane? Is it an acceleration, deceleration if you've got trucks?
Again, I mean, we got a rule, we'll take that back, we'll get it operationally,
Okay,
so,
good. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
And to that point, that was what I brought up on the intersections at Blackjack, there at 6 and 318, and then at Aldern at 93 and 93 up at Loggies. You got, on both those intersections, you've got trucks that are coming up, they're pulling an uphill pull to a stop sign, and they don't wanna stop, so they're gonna roll through that, and you've got traffic that's shooting into that, and man, at both those intersections, I've either ended up in the other lane, luckily with nobody coming, or in the bar ditch, because that truck will roll right out in front of you. And if we could just come out of those, widen that road and put in a mile of, or a half mile of merge lane where they don't stop. They just roll into a blockaded merge lane and then let them maintain some speed and then roll in when there's a break. I think we could.
How far is that from here?
23 miles.
We have time, we can take a
Where's
look
that
at
at?
The other one's about 60 miles north at Loggies Junction.
And where's the other one you were just
The
talking
one
about?
you were just talking about
Yeah,
though.
that one's down at Blackjack at 6 and 318.
Okay.
Hey, Colleen.
But
Yes.
they used to have, they used to have things like that on the other side
Yes.
of Connor Summit, like when
Okay.
you're coming from Pioche. You would just make that corner and keep going and use an acceleration lane. And another one down by Baker, and they took them out.
Yeah.
One other thing, sorry to interrupt here, Lacey just brought up a good point and I forgot to bring this up. So we're learning as we're going. When it comes to development in the county and in the city, please, if you're not already, invite Ndot to the table when you're having development meetings, development review, things like that, for things like truck stops. It's very important. We would love, love, love to collaborate and partner with you at the beginning of a project so we can have folks, and you can put that back on the developer, to pay for these turn lanes and things like this in and out. We would much rather collaborate. Absolutely. So I'm not sure if do you guys have local come to the table for those things, or?
Well, we don't have much, we don't have much development.
But-
In that sense, we had Love's Truck Stop 3 years ago.
Right.
But that is a developer, that would be a great one to have paid for that lane.
Yeah.
Can't do that
We,
now.
we can't go back and do it, but we're learning, and the other thing we're learning too is some developers like to pit us against each other. So they'll put the county and NDOT, and we end up doing this when we're like, wait a minute, we're on the same page here. So please feel free to reach out if that does happen in the future, and you do have developments coming up in the area. And, you know, we can be the bad guy too and say, you know, based on our traffic study, this is what you all should do, and then you hold them to that. And if developers want it, they'll pay for it. So, okay, where are we at?
I would like to circle back around to the shoulder issue that was brought up by Pat Stark, because I think that's an important one.
Absolutely.
There is no room for error on that highway that he was talking about, and I mean, you've got a 75 or a 70 mile an hour speed limit there. With no room for error, you hit that edge, you're done.
You're done.
So
Yeah.
I think that needs to be on that list somewhere, and I think
Top priority.
Number one.
I think it needs to be high. I'm not the decision makers on behalf of the county. I'm just a really concerned citizen who drives that road and knows that if I drift at all, I'm in trouble.
I would agree.
Did you introduce yourself? Sorry, you came in after.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Elizabeth Francis, and I'm the finance director with White Pine County.
Wonderful, thanks for coming. We'll have you sign in too.
Okay.
I would say put it somewhere in the top three.
Okay.
Do you have any
I mean, you're looking at stuff that's feasible, that's obviously more feasible. Some of these things, realign and put a bridge for wildlife. Wildlife are gonna cross where they cross, it don't matter where you put a sign. Most wildlife incidents are people driving too fast at nighttime and they're not able to see them. I mean, you can do all you want there, it still comes down to, you can't fix stupid.
Yes,
So,
especially after the pandemic.
Boy, do we hear that a lot.
you know, I mean, it's like the redesignate 318 to alternate 93.
The number 3.
I would, yeah, I mean, that, I'm sure that's a high priority here in White Pine County, but I bet you Lincoln County has a whole nother,
That's why I
Take on
asked
it?
about.
because
That's
Lincoln
why I
County
asked
wants
about
those
Lincoln.
people to keep coming through Pioche and
Right.
Right.
things promoting their town. But if that were to go through, I would rather it be put as, you know, make the one up here north alternate 93 and that south alternate 93.
Uh-huh.
Because you'd be amazed the amount of confusion we get with people reporting accidents.
Sure, they don't know where they
And the
are.
dispatch office gets it all screwed up and we
Yeah.
get sent the wrong direction and we
Yeah.
get turned around and go the other direction. So I mean, it causes a lot of confusion.
Mhm.
Like I said, we get travelers coming through, they have no idea where they're at. I don't know, I'm into that.
Right.
I just passed the landfill they fill. Don't do us a lot of good, you know what I mean?
You can't just see them out the window?
Yeah. We need a little more designation on some of this
So-
stuff.
And then I appreciate that you also, you're the first county taking into consideration another county and how it impacts them. So my hat's off to
We're a
you.
team.
Yeah, no,
We're a
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
You're really gonna need to work together. So where, Adam, you and Pat, where would you guys think would be appropriate to put this? So like at number 3 and move the next one down? Is that what you were saying?
I would say number 2, because the stoplight at Fifth Street's already been taken out, so I don't even know it's on the list.
So that's a great example of
Yeah,
a move.
there you
Okay.
go.
Yeah, number 2's
So
been
if you
done,
want
so
to leave it
take
that
it
way,
off.
it's
So
off.
number 2 is
And put it
the
at number
shoulder.
2.
Okay. Great discussion, thank
Bring
you.
2 up to 3, or 3 up to 2.
No, put the shoulder.
Shoulders.
Shoulder.
And then,
And leave
yeah.
3 where it's
Leave
at.
3 where it's at,
Take away
we need
2.
to look at potentially
Yeah, take
alternate 93 north, alternate 93 south.
Number 2's not done. I mean,
Oh, it's
maybe
not
that
done?
first sentence, the stoplight's gone,
Uh-oh.
but the actual completion
But
of
they
the
wanted
project.
to
the
replace
project.
it.
They wanna put it back.
Yeah, they
Oh,
want
I
to put
don't
it back to
know.
help slow down the traffic.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
it
and
should go back.
You do think it should?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't either.
Yeah.
So- that's your call, so no need for it.
All right,
Okay.
so we're taking that one off.
So we still want the project done, we still want the stoplight.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Are you talking the?
Well, and does the,
Main
what we
Street
talked about
project?
BJ's,
Yes.
does this also fall in line with what I told you?
Project, yes.
That's
Yes.
what Kevin is.
Yes.
So we have also at NDOT, and, I don't know, maybe I should not talk about that, but you can tell them if you want, we're.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't have the full story, I just know that we're going after a grant to assist with complete streets, I believe is what it, something along those lines in the city project, and I just let BJ know before we started, I heard from the project manager that, there'll be information on Tuesday, and he'll be reaching out to us, so, it's good,
Right.
it's good
Which
progress.
I mean, our involvement with them, because we're still continuing, like it's coming on in 2 years, because that's what Ndot is gonna happen.
Yes, yeah.